Well, hello, everybody. It's Tuesday. I had to double check earlier. I wasn't sure. You know how these days go. Even my thumbnail says Tuesday. I guess I've got that Canadian thing going.
Hey,
Tuesday. Hey. Hello, Nick.
yep.
Welcome.
Thank
Good
you.
to
Glad to
good
be
to
here,
have you.
David. Thank you.
Just thought I'd do a little impromptu tonight. Going to be talking about a few things, and I've even got a surprise discussion up my sleeve that Nick doesn't even know about.
Oh,
Ooh,
huh,
got to go there.
I
So
got you.
anyway, what have you been up to today besides trying to live the dream in Louisiana?
He took the words out of my mouth. Living the dream. Still getting over that cold thing, whatever it is. It's been 2 weeks tomorrow, and I'm tired
Jeez,
of being tired. Yeah. But
beating you up, beating you up.
persevering, living through it, and moving forward.
Gotcha.
Listening to some great music earlier, spinning some albums, some UHQRs. Steely Dan, I don't know how they do it. It's just incredible. It was time to revisit. It's been a little while, and we got something coming soon. So,
Yeah,
so
we do. We have the Royal Scam on June 6th.
I, I can't see how it can be a scam because the two I listened to today, Gaucho and just unbelievable, and
Yeah,
I Asia, of course. So I might have to get a thrill.
you might have
We'll
to get
see
it.
about
Yeah,
Gaucho. Yeah,
yeah, that one just blew my socks off. I mean, that one really
that's what
did.
I'm smelling. Okay. Hey, Andy.
Hey guys, how are you? Good to see you.
Mugu, mugu, mugu.
Hope everybody received their records if you won in the 5K. Hey, KRD, how's it going, Tim? Good to have you with us tonight. Yeah.
As you're coming in, let's tap this little thing for us,
Oh,
please.
yeah. Nick's always got the little gizmos. I love it. He's
Yeah,
Gizmo Roni. You
yeah,
got to hit the like button.
that's it. Yeah, we appreciate it. Like to share it. Tonight's going to be interesting, different. Not your normal everyday stream, I believe.
Yeah, we'll mix it up a little bit. We'll
Yeah,
mix it
we'll
up for sure.
let a few
That's
people
great.
get in here, and
Yeah.
we're
Yeah,
up
we
to
will.
17. That's nice.
Yeah. We've
But
one of the things
hey,
that it's been a busy week, just in a week's time with all the Beatles box thing going on a week ago, and now the VMP thing we're going to talk about, and we've got this beautiful Royal Scam coming out, which is the last installment for Steely Dan's releases from Universal slash Analog Productions. So that's it, folks. Um, and it's just that they did them in a different order than where they started, which was a little odd. But I guess they're driving the bus. Chad can't release them out of sequence. He can't release them early. They push a date back. He's got to push a date back. It's
speaking of the bus, I was just listening to the Magic Bus by the Who.
you were.
Yeah, 1968 release. It was
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
perfect condition. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
But
That was our buddy Patrick, right?
yes, sir.
PB
I
Thal, as he's
tip
known.
my hat to Patrick. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
so
It's
perfect pressing. I,
it's good to get
you
the
know,
clean ones. Yeah.
everybody has commented on the Beatles box. I have yet to speak anything about it. I just
Well,
want to add
you
something
got the
real
forum.
quick.
Go for it.
But it came out. I saw it. I'm like, wow. That's big coin. I don't know. I got a lot of them. I got a lot of Beatles. I'm like, I don't know. And then it was gone. I'm like, great Scott. Like, oh
Great
well.
stuff.
Yeah. Then it popped up again the next day, like they said it would. And I'm like, I don't know. I kind of squeak sometimes. And I'm like, and it's gone. What? Well, a kind friend on Discord posts that it's on Canadian, and I went there. It was $60 cheaper. And I was like, in like, so I actually was able to reserve one. We'll see if I actually get one, but the shipping had gone up since I forget his name. I apologize, but yeah, the price had gone up a little bit, but not from what it was on the American
No,
side.
it wasn't
It was
outrageous.
considerably more reasonable. So I'm thrilled, and I look forward to getting it and spinning all the monos
Yeah, so
along
you
with the other 50 something.
so that just goes to prove that you can buy a thrill.
Yeah, it's just not named the thrill.
Yeah, right. Well, Nick, you told me about it as well. So, you know, I have a set I bought, and I bought another just to have. And if there's someone I know that I'm close to who didn't get it, who wants to buy it, and I won't really charge them much more than what I paid at all, and that somebody else can enjoy it. That's what I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to doing.
you do that a lot. You're very generous with your time and thoughtfulness, and that's
You
greatly
know,
appreciated amongst many, I'm
well, I
sure.
try to. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's some people have, they work, they don't get a chance to get on, they don't, they don't hear about whatever it is,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So
They sleep and it's gone.
well,
And
yeah,
sometimes you got a friend that say, "Hey, look at here."
yep. Looky
So,
here. Yep, that happens. So, what do we got here? How many we seeing on the group here?
well,
16. Okay.
yeah, we ought to get into it.
Yeah, I didn't promote this ahead of time much. It was kind of a latent decision to, but do it. The VMP thing came out, and
VMP.
we're gonna be talking about that a bit. And we're on Surface Noise on Concert Buddy's channel on Thursday. We'll be digging even deeper. He's doing some research above and beyond as well. So,
Always a
but
good
at the
show.
end of the day, yeah, the end of the day, it's an interesting progression and a fairly quick one, I'd say, in the story. That it's going to be resurrected. Someone's bought it. So for me, that's, hopefully it's going to be good news. My biggest concern is, can they reconcile what they have outstanding with customers? To me, that's the big thing. So if you hadn't heard, this is basically what we're talking about. The fact that this particular business is being acquired by an organization called VINL, and their big deal is subscription based um, work. In other words, they've acquired several others previously, including Bandbox, and so they've been in this foray before, and that's a good thing. Even though it's an investment, I think they understand that with Nick Alt, who's a CEO, he's an entrepreneur, and then Emily Maharabak is somebody that is involved as well with VNYL Inc., the parent company. So they've had this experience, and they can bring, they've done Vinyl Box and VNYL, and now with this acquisition, it's another customer base, it's another catalog base. Hopefully, they can complete some of the commitments with the labels. A lot of people have money hanging out there, that they want to get, what's owed them, and they want to complete contracts and transactions. So, and of course, on the customer side, people want to get their credits and, get what they were promised. So, to me, they say the brand has a lot of goodwill and great engaged customers. And it's an opportunity to jump in and fix things, clean up a lot of the shortcomings. And over the last years, a lot of people bought records that haven't received them. So we're jumping in, going to start to fix that. Already started fixing that. So they do have a customer centric focus, not just let's see how much money we can make off of this right out of the gate. So that's really good. Um, I'm glad it's somebody in the business already who knows. I honestly hope they can acquire a few of those people in customer service, that were so good at VMP, who did really good jobs, and at least have that opportunity for those folks, because they were let go kind of abruptly. So, you know, it's it's an ongoing saga, and businesses have these things. You know, it's not just vinyl. Businesses come and go for a lot of reasons. So there's Nick and Emily there. So, you know, two younger folks diving in there and putting their money where their mouth is, literally. And it's really encouraging for me to do that, you know, to see that happening. You know, I'm glad to see that. So we're definitely going to talk more about this when we go on Surface Noise on Thursday, and I'm, you know, Chance is working toward getting some more direct access to these folks, which is great. And so we'll follow it as we do all these kind of things. We'll follow it and see what happens. But I'm really encouraged, and I think it happened pretty quickly. It seems, Nick, to me, given how business can be.
Yeah.
I think they probably were in a strike while the iron's hot kind of mode, and I get that. I really do
Yeah,
get it.
there's no sense in letting the momentum of it slowing down.
Yeah,
When you still have momentum, it's easier to pick that speed back up than
yeah.
start from a dead stop. So I think that was important and vital
Well,
to
yeah, and
move.
there's other, you know, the other aspect, and I know in business I saw this happen where sometimes you do an acquisition to really avoid others getting the acquisition.
Yeah,
You're trying to keep the market aligned, and in this case, they had a good. I think they had a good alignment vis-a-vis what they do and have done. So
yeah,
it was a good fit, and
yeah.
I
We
think, you
discussed
know,
something similar earlier this week on that topic, if you recall.
yes,
Yeah, 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 absolutely. So good tie-in, absolutely.
yeah, because yeah, to me, it's you know, just think about it. Subscription model, somebody else buys it, they screw it up, and everybody's saying, "Oh, screw subscription models." And then vinyl, and you know, they have the you know, it puts a bad taste in people's mouths about the word subscription. So they have to protect that, I think, as not just a name brand, which Vinyl Me Please has a very VMP and Vinyl Me Please are well known
Yeah,
commodities in terms of the vinyl community. So to let that just wash down the drain, you know, is it's sad to see, and it also is probably, you know, something to where people will take this and say, "Hey, this is a great opportunity to turn this around." And I wish them a lot of success in doing that overall. So so one thing I had on my channel with the video that I dropped, now I put up a new kind of a look for my actual videos, and I'm working on that. I've also got a new set of microphones for that today. The first one didn't have those; they hadn't arrived yet, so it was a little more just sound was coming straight out of the camera. But I upgraded to a really high end camera, and just trying to make things look a little better, get a little bit of lighting. So just trying to evolve things. One of the areas I asked about was, hey, what kind of shootouts would you like? You know, I typically pick up the new ones coming out, like I'll do Royal Scam, I'll do Dreamboat Annie, but I've got a whole two cubes full of records where I have multiple copies to do shootouts. So I plucked a few of those out the other day, and so far, with 87 votes, the total self titled has 26%. It was in the lead most of the time, and then today it switched. Cat Stevens, Teaser, and the Firecat got 15%. Moody Blues is winning with Days of Future Past with
yeah.
39%, and then the Best of the Guess Who at 20%. Now, I'll probably eventually do all of these. It's just which ones am I gonna, you know, do first. So
All right.
definitely the Moody Blues. I have a copy coming tomorrow from my friend Brad, who has a Kevin Gray version, Friday music of that. So I've got a MoFi, I've got a Speaker's Corner, I've got a Dutch audiophile pressing with silver labels that they did on Polydor labels, and I've got a UK and a US original. So definitely we'll see pretty broad sampling, I guess I'll say, of those as well. And I think I also have a MoFi Gold CD of that as well, which sounds amazing. Yeah, definitely sounds amazing. So one
Nice.
of the things that that I'm going to be coming to the channel with um, in June, I haven't set an exact date yet, is to provide additional content to the channel and to offer a membership. I haven't fully decided whether I'll do it through YouTube or a third party like Patreon, but YouTube's a lot easier to do it with, but they take more of your they take more of your coin. You get 70% of it, but so I'm really trying to decide on that. But I definitely want to bring more material to the channel, get into some more discussions about my personal collection, get into expanded shootouts to where I'll bring in digital comparisons as well on the members only area. So trying to add, some content worthy of $5 a month uh, to give you all some additional insight and looks into things beyond what I do on the channel. So I want to do a daily music feed that talks about something related to music or equipment or whatever every day on the membership, to have those queued up so they come out every day. So you have a daily, even if it's just 2 minutes, give you something to to feed off of. I mean, I've had a lot of experiences and exposure in my life and through being a DJ and other things. Just a lot of stories to tell, a lot of even records. I was pulling some singles out the other day and I just had all these stories with these singles, and I'm like,
Thought
that's
for the
just,
day, huh?
yeah, it's just, yeah, exactly. It's like, it's wasted. It's like, hey, I could, I could be talking about these things and sharing this history as well. So there's our buddy Caesar. How you doing,
There
man?
he is. Hello.
Good to see you. So, there's no stress on anybody about that. To me, um, let me get this one quick spec. No, there is no such thing as a VMP pressing plant. That's Paramount Pressings, and it's owned by Dave Rawlings and his partner, and then partially Gary Sahlstrom has a piece of that as well. They do independent pressing for other labels. Now they could do pressings for the VMP of the future. Obviously, none of those connections are going to exist anymore, to where negative connections. So they very well could be a source for them. But so no, it's that won't be part of it. You're welcome. Uh, but they're gonna, the new owners will be focusing on the business and the transactions with customers, what's owed, both in commitments and from past and future. That seems
Yeah.
to be their initial focus. So what's Caesar doing? Coming back from nephew's middle school awards night. Okay, a lot of awards, graduation. It's that time of year. He's getting promoted to high school.
Hey,
Wow.
David. Back in our day, they slapped you on the back and said, "Move your butt."
Promoted. Well, is he getting a pay raise with that or what?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, congratulations to him and
Well,
all the kids that are moving
absolutely.
on. It's a important time in life. I remember I remember my graduation. You talk about stories, graduation night, June 1st, 1975. I'm heading to Chicago Stadium to watch Chicago and the Beach Boys. They
Wow,
played 7 nights in a row and they were all sold out.
that must have been incredible.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Beach Boys had just been doing backing vocals on their most recent album, like with Wishing You Were Here and that. Those were the Beach Boys doing the backgrounds in Caribou Ranch. So,
Mm.
So that's where that connection, kind of came in. So there you go. You mentioned something, and boom, a story just is there. And yeah. So yeah, so I'll have info on the channel and give you more on that, but I definitely have been trying to think of a way to expand and to allow for the ability for me to it'll help me really stay on a pace too, to get stuff ready, release stuff in advance, get stuff put in the can. I think I really want to move on that discipline. I've been working hard on trying to get the room layout the way I wanted it. And finally, I think I'm getting to where I'm settling. Even tonight, putting up just a little. I've got this banner I use when I go sell records, or I go with Armando when he's selling them. And so I said, I'll just change the look a bit, just open
Got
things up.
got that guest chair there for
Got the guest chair. Yeah.
yes, indeed.
Yeah. Where are you at? You were supposed to be here at 8:30.
Here I am. Yeah. The tractor
Uh,
beam just didn't beam me over, you know.
Yeah, that's how they say it now. Don't know why. Only 12th graders graduate. Miller schools get promoted. Hmm. I've never, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we might have said advanced to high school or something like that, but it's like,
We
yeah,
had a little dance, on the last night of school in junior high, but that was it. I don't recall any particular. That was a long time ago.
yeah. Well, speak of dance, we did a high school fundraiser for our prom, and I think I've told this story. Who played at that prom? Not the prom, but the fundraiser? Sticks. They were nobody. They
Oh,
were
yeah.
1974.
Everybody's nobody before there's
Yeah,
somebody.
that's right. Their manager ran a record store called Hegwish,
How
and
about that?
I asked him. I said, "You got a band we could get to come and play for a fundraiser?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know how much money you got." He said, "But I got a really good band. It's going to be really big, I'll bet you." And they're $500, which was
Hell.
seemed like a lot of money at the time.
Oh yeah, that's $1975.
That's $74. Yeah.
70. Yeah, you do the math. Yeah.
So So
That,
we only
that's
we only
that's
had two.
that's that's a Beatles box, dude. Back
Yeah, I know.
then.
We only had $200 in our fund, but I heard him.
Right.
I heard him play, and when I heard him play, I'm like, I've got 300. I've got more than $300 in my checking account from working at Dairy Queen. I'm putting in the rest. So
Nice.
Andy G, you remember Hegwish Records? Yeah, they were on Interstate 30 in Merrillville. They were down
Wow.
in Miller, down by the beach, near the beach, when that's one I met him at. So yeah, he had him come down and play a few songs. "Lady" was one of them, and that wasn't a hit at that point. It was just a
Yeah.
song. Uh, but that's a hell of a song to. Yeah. So good old Wooden Nickel Records in Chicago. Yeah. So that's what I mean. I got a lot of those kind of stories to share. What do we got? Great banner coming down to VinylCon here in LA.
LA.
When is
That's Louisiana, LA, right? Caesar's in California.
I know. I was going to say I thought he was in California.
Yeah, but LA, that's here where I'm at, bud.
Caesar, I have thought about that, and I'm trying to remember, when is that? Is it August or September? Uh, I mean, you've got my email. If you could email me anything or a link, that'd be great. I do want to get out to that area now. I just got notified yesterday, and I guess tickets go on sale tomorrow for Tears for Fears in Las Vegas. They're playing 3 days at the Fountain Blue in September and 3 days in October, and I'm itching to go see them.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah,
it'd be
that's one of your
nice if,
favorites.
yeah, if one of these trips. I mean, I saw him in Austin in 2023. Yeah, 2023 in Austin, and it was a great show. and but I definitely would like to see him there. I know they've got more material coming as well, so
Uh,
uh, that's the good stuff. Let's see, Caesar. Yes, it could be Louisiana, but I'm here in Los Angeles. Well,
hey, the postal code is LA for Louisiana. But I know where you're at, bud. Good to see
yeah,
you again. And
yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of great record stores in LA from what
yeah,
that area. So I mean
yeah,
that you could spend a week there alone just looking at record stores.
easy.
Yeah. Of course, after that, I'd probably need to find a good divorce lawyer as well. But okay, all right,
Uh-huh.
whatever. Yeah,
And U-Hauls are expensive out of LA, I hear.
yeah. VinylCon is August. That's what I thought.
Okay, record cool.
Full
Yeah.
page. Yeah, I'm not getting record collector news anymore. I don't know if my subscription ran out or I got to check with Jim.
Yeah.
I got to check with Jim. But thanks, Al, for letting me know when it is. That's a fairly big show from what I've heard. Um, yeah. Well, definitely got to look into it. So today was even additionally interesting because let me pull this up here real quick. So
What is
Nick's
that?
kind of I'm gonna say he's a DAC expert. He probably doesn't like being
Well,
called that, but
I
he's
I was the gearhead for a while. I've swapped out a lot of gear,
yeah
and I was in search of synergy for my own system. So spending 10 years going through that and going through the technology as it grows, and the different attributes and the BS from the reality and all that good stuff. It takes some. It's an education, and I've
yeah.
spent years educating myself on it, and it's been a fun journey. But are you ready to present? Mhm. I started. I reached.
I'm getting
It's
there.
been what, 2 months? Let me set this up. 2 months ago or so, David and I were discussing it. He's like, "Look, I'm looking for some more music. I want to stream, but I want something better than my phone." I sent him a DAC, a little, plug-in DAC to the phone and all. And it was a step up, but it's not, what he wants to plug into his system. And yesterday, was it yesterday afternoon or the night before? I texted you with 16 or 20 questions as to what do you want to achieve and accomplish? And, just
Yeah, you
going down
did.
the list of what I learned, what you need to know before you start even looking. And we ended up with the Blue
Yeah,
Sound. Yep, because he answered a lot of the questions, and this pretty much punched most everything he needed.
did a lot of
Because
boxes.
yeah, and as it's not vinyl, of course it's not, but it's a very, very good, reputable company. Blue Sound's been around for decades. They're with uh, what's the parent company? NAD.
NAD, yeah.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
they continue. I have another friend of mine that's had one for 10 years, and they continue to push out updates to it, even though he bought it 10 years ago. He's thrilled with it, and he has a couple of turntables, a VPI, a Riga. He's into music for multiple decades, so he's really enjoying it. And so we discussed a little more yesterday, and then uh, he pops up and he says he looked at Crutchfield, and Crutchfield's got a sale.
Yeah.
And I guess they'll all be gone by the time we get done here, because that happened.
Ma-
That happened last time. What album was it I announced that went on sale on
Like
Amazon, and it was gone.
it was gone.
After the show, it was a Jimmy Page and the Crows. They had a bunch of them when the show started. I announced it, and at the end of the show, I went and looked, and you couldn't find hide nor hail. But
Yeah.
they have the last generation right now. Uh, the great company Crutchfield, but this device is going to give him most everything he wants. It's not a $2,000 streaming DAC.
Nope.
Uh, no, we weren't looking for that. We were looking to bring. new music and other music into the room to find music, enjoy music, and on those occasions that we all have, all of us final listeners, I am plumb puckered out. Let me push a button and listen to some music. And while you're doing that, you can find new stuff, look around, poke. This you can plug your hard drive into, or as David later told me, he already has a device that will plug into,
And
and he'll be able to stream music from his hard drives and from online, and just be able to have
yep,
a host of streaming services at a reasonable sound quality, very good quality sound.
yep,
We've discussed some things that you could improve in this and that. There's always the higher tier, but that's not where we're at. We're at comparing vinyl records and searching for music and pumping music throughout the house easily and conveniently. That was the goal. I think we've accomplished that.
yeah. So Caesar has a good comment. He said, "Who'd have thought Nick was going to be an influencer? You should get a commission for it." Well, I sent Nick a care package today,
He
actually,
does.
and I told him that is his commission for his advice. So
I am well commissioned. Thank you for your thoughts, Caesar. Believe me.
yeah, I definitely appreciate. He really helped me just get through it really fairly. I was ready to do something, and he hit the right chord. He reminded me of Blue Sound. I knew about Blue Sound. I've used it at a friend's house and forgot about it almost because you hear so many different brands, and it's all a big. And then you go to
Yeah.
the big shows, and everything you see is $10,000. So
And well, you were looking at Cambridge pretty hard there, and not a bad
yeah,
product, but it was more than you needed, and and you were
yeah,
like you said, uh, and you let it lapse, and you put it on the back shelf because you were busy doing other things. When I brought it back up, you're like, everything
yeah,
just fell right into place.
yeah,
The
right like
timing
it
was
should.
right, the price was right. They've now come out with a next generation. Don't
Yeah,
know, it's a different DAC, I think. It might have a little tweak here or there, but
yeah,
pretty
it
much,
does.
yeah. So I
It's it's
personally
six
would,
it's $6.99, so it's literally double the
yeah,
price.
it's double the price. So why?
And I think you get a remote with it, and it had a couple of minor internal upgrades. But I just
No,
thought if I really like this, I'll probably jump beyond that even. So
right.
you know
Yeah, it just depends on your experience. And with Crutchfield, you have 60 days.
that's right.
Full
It's
support.
Oh yes,
Uh,
Crutchfield's are really good. If you've never dealt with them, they're really good.
yeah.
The guy on the phone today was huge knowledgeable. He said Blue OS was in their facility about 3 weeks ago and was showing them newer products and then showing them through video their testing rooms where they have every permutation of product they've ever had that they put through paces before they do software upgrades and all that stuff. So let's see what he's got to say here. Talking about more of what he was talking about when he mentioned about a recent and then it sells out or everything else. People go and buy it after he mentions it. Now that's an influencer.
Well,
That's an
there's some
influencer.
sometimes even a blind pig finds a mushroom,
Even a
right?
blind squirrel finds a nut.
Yeah,
But
well,
uh, but see, you
I'm
got
a
to.
cook. I'm a cook
Well,
as well, so I prefer finding,
why aren't you?
mushrooms.
You should be a Philly cheesesteak influencer. That's
I
where.
do that as well, and we put mushrooms on those cheesesteaks.
Oh, there's a fungus among us here. I can tell you that.
Yes, those onions are caramelized for 30 minutes on the grill
Mm.
before it ever gets incorporated into the steak. So they're sweet like sugar, but that's another show. But I am very fluent in food. I'm a foodie, in case you
Yeah.
can't tell down here.
Well, they're bowling in heaven, as my mom used to say when I was a kid. We're getting the thunder and rain's coming in. I can hear it now. I got the warning about a half hour ago. So if I disappear, you'll know why.
Okay. Well,
The
I
light,
could go dive a little deeper into techie if you want, or we can save
please.
that for another show. Well,
No, no, please go
pe-
ahead.
some people say cables make a difference and some cables don't. I have found that the connecting cable, my USB from my streamer to my DAC, makes a difference. They can get pricey. It's Audio Quest. I'm using a Cinnamon. It's not a top of the line cable. Of course, most of all of my gear is not top of the line. Um, I I believe in managing resources, so you have to have limits. So you don't need the best of everything in my world, uh, because I have too many interests. So the Cinnamon cable, USB cable connecting mine made a difference versus some basic cables and some upgraded cables, different manufacturers. Now I'm sure the synergy works for mine. I'm also a proponent of external power supplies. I believe when you purchase a product that should always be able to upgrade the power supply because when they manufacture these products, they look to save money, no matter what the price point is, unless it's the price no object item. And I'm not dealing with those. But most of the time, most gear is to a price point. And one of the places they cut is some power supply. And a lot of noise comes through the electrical lines, through the wall, through the power supply. Most of them are switching power supplies, which are very noisy. Getting better, filtering's getting better, yes, but and if you go with a digital versus analog actuator, the analog, the noise floor is going to lower when you turn it down. On a digital, the noise floor is going to stay where the noise floor is, no matter how low you turn the volume down.
Right.
This is the education that I know of. I'm pretty sure I'm right. If I'm wrong, please correct me always, because God knows I'm fallible. But so those are 2 points I think very important. And of course, we all love remote controls. I love my iPad for using music when it comes to streaming. I can control most of my system in the house with either my iPad or my home theaters with a actual remote control. It's a little more complicated, but that's another story. But yeah,
Right.
those 2 points, the cabling, uh, basic cables, I believe in upgrading. It costs a few dollars, but most have reasonable returns. You don't hear a difference, send it back. Don't be bashful. Try a few different cables and do it with music, of course. Y'all know how
Yeah.
to analyze. So just I believe cabling and power supplies. The best of all worlds is one of the power supplies I use for my DAC. It's a Brooklyn, and it's the original Brooklyn, and the external DAC had made a significant difference. And we're talking $300 to $400 for an external power supply.
Yeah.
So when you're buying
That's
a $300 to $400 streamer, it doesn't make sense to spend that kind of money. But maybe if you really get into it and start depending on streaming more, then you might upgrade and be able to, go that route. It just depends on your priority. When we get
right.
old and we can't, we're so shaky we can't put the needle on the record anymore, then maybe we'll upgrade our streamers and DACs.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that this is embedded, right? The power supply here,
Yeah.
within this unit. So
Now the newer one, it's a considerable cost, but you can take it apart, replace the internal piece there, and then purchase another separate external power supply. But you might as well just go with the more expensive unit that has a better
yeah.
built-in power supply. That's extra work. You're saving, I don't know, you'd have to do the analysis. But
There's
my system,
subwoofer out, Nick. There you go. See
yeah,
that?
makes a difference.
And
Absolutely.
you always want to use wired Ethernet wherever you can,
Yes, absolutely.
not
Now, the
Wi-Fi.
nice thing about this is you can plug your TV into it for eARC,
That's
and
right.
it'll play the music or the TV. So whatever you're doing on your TV, you can pump through there, which is
Yep.
nice. Yep. So it's
Yep.
a very nice system. They know what they're doing. They've been doing it a long time. And that ends my commercial. But yeah, it's
Uh,
it's a good price. And the funny thing is, I've never used one. I've never touched one, but I've done my research.
yeah.
My streamers, it's a SOTM. with its own separate power supply. It's been out for quite a few years now, and it was considerably more. It has its own dedicated proprietary streaming service online,
Yeah.
uh, and my DAC has its own power supply. So I've knocked out a lot of noise that way. And matter of fact, there's one other item. It is called, where did I put it? Especer. It's a pink fawn. It's a it's a hard block on noise. I can't remember the exact terminology.
Hmm.
That'll be for another show. But you dang it.
What about internet? What about filters for your actual
Well,
Ethernet?
now you've opened up another can of dollars.
Sure.
Because you can, it's actually been proven that some of these hi-fi uh, boxes for I call it box. What's the technical term?
Routers,
It's
modems.
router. Well, your modem's bringing it in. Then your routers, they have hi-fi routers where you can get them built with silver wiring and separation, and uh, they filter out a lot of noise because there's a lot of noise in those things because you have so many different items in them. I happen to have the SOTM. It is called the SNH-10G switching hub, and that's what I have everything plugged into as far as quality sound. That helps filter out a lot of the noise.
You see
And it has
KRWD's
an
comment?
internal clock in it, just like the streamer and the DAC has. So all the DACs and the clocks line up and
Mm.
synchronize at the same time because the deviation in the deviation in the timing of the information coming and going causes static or sound or background noise, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
Terminology that,
think the
yeah,
bits are out of alignment.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not a big time geek when it comes to terminology, but I know what the bits and its do.
You see that comment up there, Nick?
Let's see. Wow.
You can buy a whole house power conditioner that is in the wiring in at the breaker box made by Cutler Hammer. And
That
how
would
much
be a
does that cost, KRWD?
and that would be a good start. But as those wires are going up through your walls, are they intersecting or crisscrossing or laying over other types of cables and wires? Because when you have data wires crossing with the electrical wires, you want them to be crossing in this pattern and not along like this. It would be more static with wires going like that
Yep.
because of the information traveling along the cables. So,
Yeah, a
yep,
lot of times.
that would be a good start if you got that kind of coin, buddy.
Yeah, no
But
kidding.
yeah, I've seen them. I've glanced at them, looked at similar products, but no interest to me because I'm not in the market.
It's like a
That
home
is,
generator, man. Those will,
yeah, those are
I mean,
dollars I'm not willing to spend
20
for that.
grand and at the low end, usually about 20 grand. So, and I can tell you, if you live in Houston, you'll probably get a lot more use out of it than here. So, he
Yeah,
said, I purchased one for my father back in the day, several hundred, not sure the cost. Several hundred, that's not bad.
yeah. Right now, I use a gas powered generator when the power goes out. It takes me about 7 minutes to have it up and house running again. It runs everything but the central air because then once you start wanting to run the central air, you're talking big dollars.
Yeah, the
Uh,
load. Yeah.
yeah.
Caesar says you're giving him a headache.
Who am I giving a
Caesar
headache?
said, Caesar. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm not
My
using
brain.
the high tech terminology that some of these guys they're the super nerds that know the exact terminology. But yeah, I've broken it down the best I can to
Reminds me of the old Monty Python. My brain hurts.
but do we have any questions from the gallery?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
I'd be
even some
glad to
answers,
entertain.
whatever you
Yeah,
got.
absolutely. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking at my gear list right here, and it's sad how many dollars I've put into my gear.
Shh.
Yeah, but it's taken a long time to get there. Oh, yeah, that electrician's going to cost you a few bucks.
12
You also need
kW
the
is not much.
transfer box.
Yeah,
Yep,
it adds up.
it keeps adding up. You're going to be at 8 grand when you get done with that.
Well, yeah, and then you got local city things you got to pay for zoning stuff or
Oh,
whatever. Yeah,
oh,
all that
well,
crap.
yeah, well, and
Permit.
permits. And
Yeah.
how are you going to power this? Do you have gas to your house? Do you have to dig a line for gas? Do you have to sink a propane tank in the ground?
Yeah, no, I have gas, so I could easily
Okay.
power mine.
Well, is that what I've been smelling all night?
Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
I do not have gas
Mine
out
is
here.
natural gas,
Yeah. Much more
or
efficient.
or as the politicians say, mine is artificial intelligence. So
Yeah. But yeah, I'm too deep in the woods to have gas out here. Only the get I would need a propane tank buried, which I have room for, or a gas tank buried, but that doesn't last as long. My neighbor has a huge propane tank buried.
mm, they still haven't found his mother-in-law,
Who's brother-in-law?
the guy who had the
What?
tank buried.
Oh, jeez. She was a gas, I heard.
Okay,
Okay.
here's a. All right, I live in the DFW area, Dallas Fort Worth, KRWD. I don't live in Austin.
No,
Now I think Rojas lives near Austin. Do those batteries backups designed for home computers do anything to improve electrical signal?
yeah,
Eh,
they keep them running when the power goes out.
yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry.
UPS. Yeah, that's what they do. They'll hold a charge for whatever 10 minutes, 15, whatever it is.
Depends on what's running on it. I use it at my house to keep the internet running when the power goes down,
Yeah, I got
and
one on
also
my.
for my computer, so I can have time to shut it down. But they're dirty
Yeah.
as far
Well,
as electrical charges.
the thing is, in my with my configuration, I've got a fiber coming into the house, and they have a converter that converts from fiber to coax, and
Yeah,
that particular box itself has a computer, so you have to back up because if
yeah.
it goes out, you're not getting the signal to your modem slash routers.
Oh, that
So
stinks.
yeah, so you gotta know the whole. It's like the mastering chain.
Yeah, yeah. You got to know it. That's why, like I said, I have one pretty good sized backup just for my modem because
Yeah.
being out in the country, lights no big deal. We're set up for that, but you got to have the internet or you're blind. Got to be able to get a hold of the electric company.
Yeah, Caesar, where is George Borden? I know he moved, but he kind of got off of having a show. I did enjoy his show for the most part. I did definitely.
George knew much more about mastering and electronics and
Oh
all
yeah,
that.
well he was. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
his
that's what he
trade.
did for a living.
Yeah,
It's the same, only different.
yeah. Well, yeah, he was. Yeah, he was good. But I do. KRWD said to Austin. I do know where Buda, Texas is. I do. I've been there before, but no, I'm like 3 hours north of Austin. Definitely. Yeah. So What else is on tap? Let's think here. We talked about the release this week of Royal Scam, and hopefully it's not. Uh,
Oh, to be specific on that power supply I was
oh yeah,
discussing earlier, S Booster, BOTW, S Booster is a wonderfully handmade in Europe power supply, external power supply, and they configure them for a lot of electronics. So all you have to do is contact the retailer, tell them what you want to power, and they'll tell you whether or not it'll uh, direct connect, be easy, it's made for it, whatever. But that's a really good kind. And I've had that unit, knock wood, for a long time, and it's very high quality product.
have you know anybody's used any of the ones from PS Audio, Paul McGowan's company?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm sure it's quality products out of Boulder, Colorado.
Yeah,
I'm not ever had the opportunity to get one of their decks, but it was just more than I wanted to swing.
yeah.
And
No, I
it's
get it. Me
yeah,
too.
yeah, but I'm sure they put out quality gears. It's just that next level I'm not at, and I'm
Yeah,
not embarrassed to make that statement. I mean, we all have our limits as to where we put our resources.
no, yeah, no. It's everybody got to work within their own parameters.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, you know, you can spend a lot. You can spend a lot and not get as much as you should, and spend less and get really solid sound for the money. So it's always that, how much more are you getting for how much more you're spending,
Dim-
right?
Diminishing returns,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's kind of like the Dallas Cowboys, once you get in the red zone, you can't seem to
You
get
can't
to the
move
finish line.
forward.
It can't seem to get to the,
Unlike the Philadelphia Eagles.
yeah, well, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, but it's true. We're Americans, most of us here, and we're settlers. We settled. We crossed this country and we settled all the way. Some didn't settle and they ended up in California, but others settled right there on the East Coast, and others settled all throughout the country. So you got to decide what you're going to settle on the quality of sound. You might hear something better somewhere else, but that's one of those experiences. Well, that's nice, but I still love my system. And
Mhm.
there you go. Because any changing any one specific part in your room can either ruin this energy or improve it, and you don't know until you try. And the
He did
one
say
thing
you said ruin.
overlooked,
You said ruin, not ruin, right?
ruin,
Not
ruin this
ruin
energy,
the
not ruin, no.
the
But
ruin.
the thing most people overlook the most is room acoustics. They don't put any effort into room acoustics, and that's a shame because it's plenty of places to learn about it, and the dollar spent per anything else in the room will make the most significance in the
Mm,
sound quality.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I see.
On that area.
Did I send you my joke of the day? Did you know that laughing at your own mistakes can lengthen your life, while laughing at your wife's mistakes can shorten it?
Absolutely.
So
Hey, Dave, say,
there's
Wyoming
Wyo.
Dave's in
I
the
see.
house. What's he say here? Uh,
Hmm,
oh,
I
nice.
wonder what it sounds like.
Yeah. What
I've
does
not.
it sound like,
I've heard
Dave?
of that, but I've not seen one. Yeah, you got to have. Yeah, I mean it's so critical. Even I changed my room. I got rid of my couch I had in here, and it was absorbing a lot of bass and sound. And so, I had to make a few adjustments in the way my speakers were pointing. So yeah, it doesn't take much. Doesn't take much at all.
No, one little shift makes a big difference.
So there's a big vinyl manufacturers conference in Memphis this week.
Oh,
So it'll be interesting to see if any new technologies come out of that.
nice day. Well, that'd be nice.
Wyoming Day said it sounds awesome. Okay, well, Dave, I've got to look that one up. Honestly, I haven't seen something with Keel for, geez, a long time.
Oh,
Oh, you're still there. You just moved. Okay, I was wondering what
yeah,
happened.
I had to shut off the AC. Ah,
Ah,
but okay. So we got one- no questions.
anybody in
Uh,
the peanut gallery order the mono box? I meant to ask that earlier.
yes.
Anybody order the mono box
Bueller. Bueller.
besides
No, looks like we're the only ones.
maybe?
There you
Hmm.
go, Andy G. Congratulations, sir.
Oh, we got one. Okay, good.
What country did you get it from,
Did you
Andy? America?
get it for the U.S.? Well, it was available through Beyond the US store, and that's where, if you didn't know to go look,
Yeah.
there was a de.thebeatles.com. There was a UK one. There was a Mexico one. There's
France.
yeah, France, and I've heard France and Italy may still have some. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
I got mine in Canada.
yeah, I got mine in Canada, which would be appropriate since I'm Canadian.
Hey.
But hey,
Yeah, speaking of which, I was looking for the Stanley Cup playoffs. Anybody know when they start? I mean, I know the
don't
playoffs have been playing, but I follow.
talk about
Hey,
hockey. Dallas Stars don't seem to know how to get into the finals
well, they
year
they did
after
better than
year.
my Flyers. I got to go back some decades for some good Flyers. But everybody remembers the Broad Street Bullies if
Yeah,
you're our age. Yeah,
yeah,
but that was a long time ago.
yeah, yeah. I know. I was when I was a kid. It was the Chicago Blackhawks were really good.
Oh yeah,
Bobby Hull, Stan Mikita. Yeah, they
yeah,
were. Yeah, but
heydays.
yeah, the heydays. Also, FYI, if you're a Van Halen fan, the new MoFi Fair Warning is tremendous. Might be the best MoFi Van Halen they've done so far. Okay,
Really?
thanks for letting us know. Your biggest gripe is the four per. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Said so in my video. That's a travesty to me. Because who's going to buy? You buy four of them. What are you doing? I mean, think about it. It doesn't make sense. There's only one real reason people would do that. you know, and I really, given how limited it was and the time, at least for
Yeah,
now, it adds insult to injury, in my opinion.
I agree.
I just really,
Yeah, let everybody get a bite at the apple.
yeah, no pun intended.
Wasn't
But for
there?
sure. Yeah, Caesar said he's just grabbing them one at a time. So, Caesar, what are you missing? Which ones don't you have in mono from that 2014? I wonder because I run across them every now and then.
Well, then they're no good because you got tire marks right down them. You have run over records.
I have,
I know you.
and they still play. I mean, my Steve Wilson Chicago 2 remix was one that I ran over, and I bought another one because uh,
You started.
wait till you guys see my video on the record pie. Oh my gosh.
Uh,
I've been at it for 10 weeks.
yeah, I was gonna say it's been a while.
They only respond to an email once a week, if that.
Oh,
They
wow,
told me they were going to send a return sticker 2 weeks ago.
wow. Customer service not a
Yeah, it's
priority.
like the idiot FedEx guy. Yeah, he did
You
it
know,
twice. He did it several times. Yeah.
you know who I've had good customer service with? A lot of record companies, but Humming Guru all the way around the world. You send them an email today when you wake up in the morning, there'll be an answer and directions
Yeah.
and
th-
something
th-
actionable.
yeah. They have been stellar. Everybody has said that.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I've had mine for quite some time.
Right. You
And
had one internal part you had to change recently, right?
right, that was 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
Was it the
Yeah,
motor or was it
it
a
was the
board? It was a
motherboard.
board, right?
Yeah, I'd done probably 3,000, 3,500 washings and drawings, and the motherboard went, and they were so very reasonable. The shipping was almost the same as the part to ship it from around, and full instructions, details how to do it, easy peasy, and knock wood, it's running like it's brand new. It's been a very nice device. I did learn one thing about that is doing just a rinse with distilled water uh, doesn't do as effective as using a small amount of a special formula that I use because of what do they call it? Resistance of water in uh, what do you call it? It's the way bugs dance across the top of the water.
Yeah, the negative charge and the positive
Right,
charge.
right. Well, it's the same with washing the discs in just plain distilled water. There's that barrier that just doesn't get broken. But with a chemical, it helps get into the grooves, and then you rinse it off as best you can on a rinse cycle. It takes
Perfect.
twice as long, uh, but you know the results have been much more stellar doing it that fashion.
Yeah.
And to that, once again, I can tip my hat to PP Thal for the archivist friend he has for the chemical makeup in which the mix is made. Surface tension. There you go. Thank you. That's the
Yeah,
word I was looking for.
it is. Yeah. Not surface noise, surface tension.
That's it.
It's
Surface
when
noise is Thursday.
it's when the noise causes you to
Next
have
week. Yes.
tension. Yeah, I got it was a record. Actually, I did two of them. I gave one away in my 5K show, but Annie Lennox Divas, which is like a greatest hits. And I'll
Yes.
tell you, that record had pops in it and was driving me nuts. And I took it to a friend's house and he put it in 3 cycles of a degritter. And I'm not kidding you. When I got it back, it had more pops in it than it did when I
Oh, wow.
gave it to him.
Did he use sulfite or just water, distilled water?
That's a great question. I'm not
Yeah,
positive.
I'll bet you $1 he used just distilled water.
Yeah, well, that's not going to cut
But
it.
and from what I understand, I think Ingroove uses just distilled water. I'm not sure though. But and I forget he's using some expensive machinery out there. But
So surfactants break down the surface tension.
yes, it makes the water wetter. You were right. You see, yeah, that's what I thought, Billy. Yeah,
Yeah.
just distilled water, which would make sense from a retailer. You know, you don't want to put a chemical on a product that someone's purchasing new. I guess it'll get off most of the stuff on the outsides of the record, and they shouldn't be that dirty on the inside. But I found some brand new pressings. Well,
I'll say that one I'm talking about is a brand new damn pressing.
yeah, just some filthy stuff. It's not a clean sanitary area where they press records.
Drove me
Nothing,
nuts.
nothing sanitary about it. But
Yeah.
it's amazing. Like the albums I was listening to tonight, dead quiet background, just incredible. Oh, unbelievable. I had some customers in the restaurant the other day, and we got talking about they were talking about CDs, and I was like, I got a dual 1219 sitting right there. I said, and records don't make snap, crackle, and pop. And they looked at me like I had two heads. Like, what are you talking about? It's got all kinds of noise. I'm like, no, you are mistaken. So I popped on a Beatles, I think it was a Beatles number ones, the Red album, and popped it on, and they were eating. And I eventually came back over. I said, "Well, what do you think of that CD that's playing?" He said, "See, I told you CDs don't pop." I said, "Look over at the turntable. That's a record." They all three of them were like, "What?" Just totally, they didn't know. They just assumed that the myth of snap, crackle, and pop was real. Like,
Well,
you just got to
KRWD,
take
that see, that's a great idea. I could hold some of my records outside my window when I go through the car wash.
just
That's
open the
I
sunroof.
hadn't even thought of that.
Put the box right there in the middle. Open the sunroof. Don't worry about it.
Man, man, but those brushes are really rough on them. I'll tell you, it's just
I do have some drying racks that I purchased on eBay. They're just little plastic assembly uh, rods like this. Well, shoot, I'll show them to you. Because after this, it dries them. I like to set them up for 30 to 40 minutes just to make sure they're dry before I encase them back into plastic again.
yeah.
Uh, but they're reasonably cheap enough. And you can stack them up while you're cleaning a whole bunch of them. You never just clean a couple records anyway. And here you go.
Amazing. Nick can talk while he's not in the room, even. There you go.
There you go. Let's see. They just come apart. They'll come in a little box. All these all disassemble. Nothing to it. Comes in a very small box. You slap it together one time. You got little rubber tips here to help protect the vinyl. Easy peasy. I've shown these once or twice before, and I've had a few people reach back out to me and thank me for showing these. But yeah, I got just two of them. Is all I need because each cycle is 11 minutes to do a full. I do a full cycle when I do it. So when you get 12 of them up there, they've been up there for an hour and a half, 2 hours. So you pull them down and start sleeving them. You don't have to worry at all whether or not there's still particles of water in the grooves. What we got staying up here? Read some of these. Yeah, okay. Just depends on how much room you have to work with as well, Billy. That makes a difference. I don't think my work area I have room for 30 at a time, but that's great. I'm glad you found something. Oh, please. Okay.
Mm.
So feels.
flipping back in the Beatles. Hey, yeah, I asked
Hmm.
Cesar which ones he didn't have of the individuals, so I'll keep an eye out
Right.
for it.
Yeah. Well, you picked up the red and the blue box as well, didn't you,
Yeah.
Dave?
Hmm.
Yeah. The 3 disc sets.
Yeah.
But those were stereo.
Yes. But I didn't get the US monos. That ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. Nor did I. Didn't even bother.
No, that was a cash. So the question is, are they going to come out with a remaster of Rubber Soul this year, I wonder.
Mm. That's been the question for 2 years now, at least, isn't
Yeah, I
it?
know.
At least.
Yeah, now they're even, there's talk maybe they'll even redo Anthology because they've released, I guess, some books or something with it. So,
Yeah. The book sold out. I saw on the Beatles. I heard it was coming, and then when I finally looked, it was gone. It was $50 book.
yeah, I've got that on, I got that on
That
DVD and laser, actually, the Anthology
you know, I
box
caught
set.
something where Mazzy had stated that the artwork and the photography in the anthology was done very well.
Huh,
Of course, he had an original from God knows when.
yeah.
Uh, oh,
Yeah.
the monobug. Yeah, sorry about that, Billy. Well, if you want to pay shipping from Italy or France,
Yeah.
you know that would probably set you back. But who
See,
knows?
there
They might surprise us one more shot. Who knows?
I don't
Nobody
know.
knows. Nobody's talking. We just have
No,
guesstimates.
yeah, it's about the best kept secret I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, NASA should have done so well, right?
Yeah, the government could use that, yeah, instead of leak.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
wonder
we won't
where,
even get into
Caesar
politics.
was talking about Frank Sticker Mania. I wonder where he gets all his stuff. Oh my gosh.
He watches eBay like a hawk, and he has a lot of integration with a lot of other collectors. But he watches eBay like a hawk. He's very knowledgeable about what he collects and what he does.
Hmm.
You know, he's obviously spent a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Anytime you spend that much time at any one endeavor, you become pretty proficient at it. You know that.
hmm.
I got a son.
Yeah. Caesar said first time he'd heard the mono from the US and didn't like them. Well,
Okay.
Capital,
Look look in your Discord, your Discogs. How many Beatles records do you have?
who?
Oh, are you an Al?
Ooh,
Okay, we
ooh.
won't count then. Never mind.
Never mind. And I don't probably have all of them in there, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I definitely don't have all my 45s in there. I've got a ton of their 45s.
I was spinning some Stevie Ray last night. Ah, so good on 45 from AP. God, they're incredible. Good stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, Caesar, absolutely. You can tell. He's not bashful. He'll tell you. He watches them like a hawk.
Yeah.
And he bids passionately on it. He just is what it is. He knows his pricing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff he sells isn't totally outrageous, actually.
No.
So, so
And some of it's locked up in a safe.
yeah. Yeah.
Don't blame him there.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that as well. I have a few of those myself. It's the only way to fly. The only way.
So what else we got?
We got a sore neck, and David's going to probably have to sign off in a minute. So I'm like, I just moved it and went, oh,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
felt it.
Getting
Felt,
old, huh?
yeah, yeah, getting old.
It's
It
hard to
comes.
be getting someplace you've already arrived.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Don't remind me. Don't
Well, anything
remind me.
else from the gallery, guys?
Yeah.
Any questions?
Any
Answers?
complaints? Oh no, we don't complaints. It's just,
We'll take complaints. We'll
it's
just
it's
pass
like
them along.
Monty Python with the argument clinic. Clinic. You've come here for an argument. No, I haven't. Yes, you have. No, you haven't. Yes, you have.
I
This
love
isn't
that bit.
argument. It's contradiction. No, it isn't. Yes, it is.
Contradictions down the hall.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, did you, did you play for the 5 minutes or the full half hour?
Yeah.
I've told you
God, that's
once.
good.
No, you didn't.
They
Yes, I
don't do
did.
that. These generations miss so much. I guess.
Oh,
I
I
don't know.
know. Ollie, this is a dead parrot. It is deceased. It is no more. Sometimes he will come down, especially. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. No, he's a decent guy.
Yeah,
That's
he
for,
is. Good man.
yeah, he's a really good guy.
He just retired from his industry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was in the grocery business.
Oh, really? Huh? I didn't know that.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Huh.
And he put a lot of years in. He finally retired.
Well, I'm glad he's doing something he really enjoys. That's
Yep.
important.
Yep.
And he's making, and he makes other people happy. That's the thing too.
Yeah, I think that the human endeavor is for most normal people, is to make others happy.
Yeah. You get a lot
Well,
out of it.
yes,
Get a lot out of it.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, folks, with things slowing down, including me, I just wanted to thank you all for the time. And as I said, it looks like we're going to definitely be doing a shootout on Days of Future Past is the winner and the runner up, total self titled. So I'll be doing those in the next week or so, along with hopefully the Royal Scam coming out as well. So I'm looking forward to that one so that I can tell Nick, hey, all
Absolutely.
right, everybody. We'll hope you have a great rest of the week and weekend, and we'll stay in touch. That's all from the Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion. Take care, everybody. See ya. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
Bye,
Good night,
everybody.
all.
Good night.